fleets and their fall. But after the smoke of their last great conflict faded, Earth went dark. The centuries that followed erased their relevance. The galaxy declared humanity finished, whether by their own wars, resource collapse, or simply the inevitable decay of youth. They were filed away as a species too volatile to last. For millennia, no Terran envoy came to the conquered, no Terran colony sent messages across the stars. The silence was absolute, and in that silence, confidence grew. Humanity was gone. The galaxy moved on. In council chambers, the younger species scoffed at the idea that Terrans had ever been as dangerous as the records suggested. Their ships, though powerful in their time, were antiquated relics compared to modern designs. Their strategy, relentless, overwhelming force, was labeled primitive. The graveyards of human war fleets, scattered across forgotten sectors, were seen as historical curiosities at best. Empty metal hulks drifting in forgotten voids, no more threatening than dust. So the galaxy laughed at the silence of Earth, never suspecting that silence had teeth. Ghosts in the static. It began as nothing more than an anomaly. A survey vessel of the Calry Dominion passed through the Perseus Drift, a region once contested in humanity's final wars. Their instruments twitched with static. Old signals, archaic, analog, broken, whispered through the background noise. The crew dismissed it as radiation echoes from forgotten battles. Yet when they triangulated the source, they found something stranger, a massive concentration of derelicts orbiting a dim red star. Vast shipyards, station frames, and armored hulls stretched in silence, black against the void. The commander filed his report with a touch of disdain. "Ruins," he noted, "the wreckage of a failed species held together by luck and vacuum." But not all shared his indifference. Scholars of war, archivists of strategy, and those who remembered the old legends spoke uneasily. The Terrans, they warned, were not builders of ruins, they were preservers of arsenals. Their fleets were said to be engineered for endurance beyond reason. Hull plating that did not corrode, reactors built to sleep, code systems designed to outlast dynasties. Still, the majority dismissed the concern. Ancient junk, the council decided. Even if it stirs, it cannot match us now. But the signals continued, stronger, clearer, whispering not of ruins but of awakening. The first flicker. The discovery escalated when patrol drones sent into the shipyard never returned. Their feeds cut out with flashes of light, as if swallowed by sudden plasma fire. The council declared it interference. The scientists insisted it was malfunction, but those who studied the recordings saw what others ignored: motion. Engines. Not the sputter of a failing reactor, not the chaotic burst of decaying cores, but deliberate ignition. Small maneuvers, course corrections. Black shapes shifting like leviathans in the dark, aligning with impossible precision. Then came the codes. The conquered maintained ancient clearance channels, long forgotten, archived from extinct civilizations. Suddenly, those channels flared to life. Encrypted Terran ident tags pulsed through the void, as valid now as they were millennia ago. Not one corrupted, not one invalid. The galaxy's oldest security recognized them, opened pathways, and admitted these were not ruins. These were authorized warships of Earth. The graveyard was not dead, it was waiting. The engines of the dead. What stirred in that shadowed star system was not a scattered collection of wrecks, but an armada. Hundreds of hulls, black with the dust of ages, now roared back to life. Their engines ignited like ancient volcanoes awakening after endless sleep. Vast battleships, their prows etched with scars of forgotten wars, pushed into formation with flawless synchronization. They did not falter, did not hesitate. The programming of their long-dead commanders, the doctrines of Terran High Command, lived within them. Tactical AIs long outlawed by the conquered hummed awake, their cold logic sharper than ever. Each ship, from the smallest frigate to the colossal dreadnoughts, moved with the coordination of a predator pack. The watching alien fleets, dispatched in arrogance to study the ruins, suddenly found themselves facing a war machine more disciplined than anything alive today. Their scanners wept with power signatures that dwarfed their own. Weapons batteries extended, glowing with energy still lethal. Not experimental, not prototype. Perfected designs preserved through the ages. And the galaxy finally realized humanity had not built fleets that aged. They had built fleets that waited. The shattered certainty. Panic spread across the conquered. Emergency sessions convened, arguments flared, orders contradicted. Some called for diplomacy, but how does one negotiate with ghosts? Others demanded immediate attack, but who dared strike first when the very air of space seemed to thrum with Terran firepower? The first skirmish settled the debate. A cavalry recon wing, too bold for their own survival, engaged the perimeter of the fleet. They did not last a minute. The Terran ships moved with ruthless precision, cutting them apart in silence. The aliens never heard a threat, never received a demand. Only destruction, efficient, unanswerable. Worse still was what followed. The Terran fleet did not pursue, it did not advance. It simply maneuvered back into silent formation, engines simmering like coals in the void, waiting, watching, as if it knew the galaxy was listening and wanted them to understand fear. The conquered navy, considered the pinnacle of modern technology, suddenly felt like children with toys. Their fleets were fast, yes. Their weapons sleek, yes. But the humans had built something else entirely, ships designed not for progress but for endurance. Their steel was thicker, their reactors deeper, their codes immune to time itself. Against such unyielding presence, modern felt fragile. The return of the storm. When the full Terran formation emerged from the shipyard, the void itself seemed to darken. Carriers the size of cities loomed forward, deploying wings of fighters that screamed like metal wraiths. Cruisers glided into escort patterns, their hulls bristling with weapons older than entire alien civilizations. And at the fleet's heart, titans of war, dreadnoughts whose silhouettes were whispered in legend, cast their shadows across the stars. The galaxy had believed them extinct. Now they moved as if no time had passed at all. In council halls across 1,000 worlds, silence fell. Legends were no longer myth. Humanity had preserved storms, buried deep in the void, waiting for their return. If this was one fleet, how many others lay hidden? If these engines had slept for millennia, how many more would wake? The dread spread faster than war itself. For in the end, humanity had not needed to fire upon the galaxy to win. The simple sight of their armada, alive and unbroken, was enough to shatter the illusion of safety. Aftermath of silence. No declaration was made. No envoy arrived. The fleet did not march upon the core worlds, nor demand tribute, nor proclaim vengeance. It simply moved, silent, flawless, a storm contained within iron hulls. Then, as suddenly as it had emerged, it vanished into the dark between stars, leaving behind only fear. Whispers spread like fire. If this was their forgotten arsenal, what else lay waiting? Were their fleets sleeping in nebulae, hidden beneath dead moons, buried beneath the crust of ruined worlds? Was Earth itself truly silent, or had its storms merely gone deeper underground? For the first time in millennia, the galaxy remembered the truth. Humanity did not build empires that faded. They did not build monuments that crumbled. They built fleets, fleets that endured, fleets that remembered, fleets that waited. And when their millennia-old hulls ignited once again, the galaxy learned the cost of forgetting them. Humanity was not gone. Humanity was not broken. Humanity was patience armed with fire. And patience had ended